thing that can happen is it fails and we do something else.
Yeah, and of course, I teach people to be careful with your money. A lot of the startups during the dot-com bubble, they were just throwing millions of dollars at kids that were wet behind the ears and buying pool tables and massage chairs instead of running a business. That's part of why it failed. But yeah, you just you dive in, which is the title of your book, right?
Yep, correct.
Tell them
Yeah.
about the book.
So the book came out of the talk. It initially started when I spoke at the mortgage industry, and I thought, geez, that was fun. I got on the plane on the way back to Perth, and so put Perth into a context where it is. It's on the west coast of Australia. It is a big country, so from Perth to Brisbane is a New York LA distance. So that would sort of put into context the
Mm-hmm.
size of the country. We're in a 2 million people city on the west coast of Australia. So I spoke in Melbourne at this conference. I got on the plane. I had an iPad with me, and I thought, let me document some of my thoughts. And that's where I started writing this book. It was just spur of the moment. I was on the plane, whiskey in hand, and I wrote 2,000 words on the flight home. And then for the next 9 months, I got up at 6 in the morning and wrote for half an hour every day. And then I suffered from imposter syndrome. I went, no one wants to know my story. So I put it away. I put it away for about 2.5 years
Oh my
until,
goodness.
yeah, I'd started professionally speaking. I'd been going around the world consulting to businesses, and I did nothing with the book. And then I was in South Africa working at another company and had a dinner with a cousin of mine, and who said to me, oh, yes, his wife has just left her job at 25 years at a book business. So she was the head buyer, and she'd gone out on her own as a publisher. And I said, well, let me send her my manuscript and find out what she says. And I sent it to her, and she said, write 10,000 more words and you got a book. So that was what happened in 2017. I sat down, I wrote 10,000 more words, sent it to her. She did all her magic. And in the 18th of May, 2018, it went live on all the good, sites, Amazon, Booktopia, etc.
Wow, wow. Wow, gee, now hopefully the next one won't take that long.
No, the next two are in production
Aha,
actually.
two,
So
there you go.
yeah, no, yeah. So the first of those has actually been in progress for about 2 years now, but its working title is "If Culture Rarely Ate Strategy for Breakfast, What's for Dinner?" And it's I have a passion for generating rich and robust cultures in businesses. A lot of my clients, a lot of the time I spend on stage is all about culture. And what I did is I decided that I had to take my own experience. Although I've got 30 years of entrepreneurial experience, it's based around two continents. And I needed to take that broader. And so I took advice from a great speaker friend of mine who lives in Singapore. And I went out and interviewed companies. And my target is 100 interviews. COVID got a little bit in the way of that. But I'm at 87 so far over 25 countries. And those interviews will become that book, which is talking about what makes rich and robust cultures and conversely what makes toxic culture in organizations. So that's the second book project. The third is an ebook that I'm about halfway through, hopefully have it out by early March 2021. And that is a book called Building Excellence. It's one of my passions. I'm known as the business excellence guy in speaking circuits, and I love the building blocks that make up business excellence. And what can you do as a small business, as an entrepreneur? You don't need to do the big bucks. You don't need to spend the millions. And as you said, going on the pool tables and the bean bags and the fancy coffee machines.
Right.
But what can you do on a basic business level to look at components? And my components are not the traditional components that we look at. It's the things that have made me successful in small business, and how do we translate those into other people's businesses? And so that ebook will be out sometime in March 2021.
That's only a couple of weeks
it,
from now. So good.
that's only a couple of
Awesome.
weeks from now. Yeah.
I like the speed now compared to the first book because, things do change so rapidly. I heard one guy say, don't worry if your kids don't know what they want to be when they grow up. because it probably hasn't been invented yet.
Oh,